Man, I gotta ask y'all first off, man. First, I caught the screener, man. It was you guys both did amazing, just out the gate. Just both jumped on the first scene. It was just so explosive between both of you, just arriving. You didn't even have to say anything, and it was already magnetic. But my first question would be to Lil Meech, man. How did it feel? Definitely got to ask this first. How did it feel, man, playing somebody so iconic and yet your father at the same time? You know, you had Ice Cube do it. You know, it worked out, and now we got you doing it, and it's just as explosive. So
It was amazing, man. Just everything from the beginning to the end. It was just it was a journey, and like, but the biggest and the best part about it was talking to my dad and just really understanding what he was going through, and him telling me from a different point of view now, because I actually got to play him, you know. So him telling me all the stuff and all the obstacles that he faced and all the choices that he had to make, you know, to get him to where he was at, and he was a very successful person, and he was a very strategic, very ambitious, and very loving. Like, he loved his family more than anything in the world. He just never wanted to see his family, you know, and not be able to afford to live. You know, he wanted to make sure everybody was good. So that's what was the best thing about it, was able to really understand him and the little boy, because that's why I had to go back to the little boy, and really understand from the beginning and how he really started.
no doubt, no doubt. Now, Da Vinci, man, you've had several big roles before this, man. But how do you feel when people see this and just see how amazing the show is and see you in the street and be like, "Hey, T."
Oh man, this project's been a huge blessing, and everybody who watched this, they're gonna see me in a completely different light. They're gonna know this is nothing like anything I've ever done. Like we go through every emotion, everything from happiness, sad, to being scared to death, to excitement beyond our wildest imaginations. That the highs and the low in this is gonna be so crazy, and I think it's just gonna take the audience through an emotional roller coaster, and just to be able to be a part of this project that is a legendary historical project. It's beyond my wildest imagination.
For sure, for sure. Meech, I mean, you already Little Meech, but people really gonna see this and not know the story behind it until they see the show and be like, so how would it feel with people running you and be like, hey, Big Meech, what's going on?
And my uncle said the same thing. That's crazy. You said that's funny. You said that. Man, I don't know how I'm gonna take that. That's gonna be crazy. You know, I was telling my dad, I was joking with him the other day. I'm like, yeah, man, people gonna be saying I'm Big Meech now. All the people that don't know you gonna be saying I'm Big Meech. Man, you can never be me. You're like, man, you can never you tell me. But it's gonna be funny though. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Definitely, definitely. And Randy, man, I gotta ask you, just watching the show, just as a viewer, not even just chilling and just watching the show and enjoying it for everything that it comes out to be. What do you think fans will instantly gravitate to? Newfound fans, I should say.
I mean, for me, the thing that I hope fans gravitate to first and foremost is that we are a quality show. You know what I mean? And I say that from the cinematography, from the production design, from the wardrobe design. Like, we really put our foot in this. The team that we assembled, all the way to the acting. You know what I mean? All the way down to the PA. So I hope it comes across, and I hope people feel like this is the best show they saw this year. You know what I mean? Or the best show they ever saw. You know what I mean? So that's what we really try to do. Make people jump out of their seats and be, amazed, and turn our show into a water cooler show. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When people go to work the next day, they like, man, did you see? You know what I mean? And I think, by casting two young lions like Da Vinci and, Lil Meech, I think we're on our way. So that's my hope.
No doubt. Now, Da Vinci and Meech. I mean, Da Vinci, you've had some history on film before this, and Meech, this is your first time really your breakout role. Well, a breakout role for both of you guys. But I want to ask you, just working together, being that you guys had to share the screen a lot together, man. Did you how did you guys build the chemistry
Well,
that came off so magnetic?
I'll go first, Da Vinci. So, but really, first day I met Da Vinci, I told him already, like, I seen him All American, and I was, a fan of his work. And I now being on set for it to be my first time, I get to learn from him because he already been doing it longer than me, so he could teach me, be like a brother to me for real, on and off screen. I can learn from him, and we get to learn from each other and just tell the story the right way, so y'all can see it on screen and it look as real as possible. That's what the whole, journey was. But it's always been great, like working with the whole cast. Me and Da Vinci clicked first day. I feel like though, knowing that we had to be brothers, we really the friendship was just it was different with us. We had a lot of time just together, just me and him. So it's more than just a friendship now. We all brothers.
Right. Absolutely, and just to piggyback, yeah, everything. I agree with everything you're saying, and we were basically like, Chris Paul and Devin Booker. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Paul winning the Western Conference was like the first time for him, and and Devin Booker being a rookie. You know what I'm saying? But they were able to just like, and I'm still a rookie. I'm still, this is my fourth year, so it's like, so just fusing both worlds and just getting that raw, authentic background of the Flannery family from Lil Meech himself. It was the duo was so dope. Like the pick and roll game that we had was just insane because it's like he had what I needed. Like he was the source. Usually when you're telling a story like this, you don't got that. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like in All American, the Spencer James, like Spencer Payne, it's based off a true story, but you don't got the real, like they like going way off, like the shit ain't even, but this is like they trying to stick to the script as much as possible, and I got the bloodline to go back and forth with. I mean, I think that's what made it just so real. And I was just learning so much from him, and when he took me in to his home in Detroit, when I was talking to his grandma and just sitting there and just soaking everything in, talking to his auntie and everyone, I was like, damn, just them taking me in as family. It was amazing. I think it just the chemistry was just
Yeah, and we
it
all
was
knew for real. The best thing I think for us when we was in Detroit filming that week, and we actually got to sit at my grandma's house after
right.
set, all of us, and just talk to her. And she couldn't stop crying, and that's when we knew it was real. Like she felt it. She knew. She like everything was perfect for her, and she's the one that so it's the family. It was her. The
He the
reason why.
rock. Yeah. She is the rock. She is the person. And I'll just piggyback off of something they said. Listen, Meech had been in acting class, for a year and a half or whatever. And I came to one, you know what I mean? We talked, I gave him a note. And then, I saw his performance and I was like, it's good. But when you put him and Da Vinci together, it was like, that's Meech and T. That's it. We don't have to do anything else. You know what I mean? That is it. And Tasha and the beautiful thing is 50 saw it all along. You know what I mean? And then really when I saw it, and he about to get mad at me, is that when they cut his hair, when they had to cut his hair, hey, that's when I was like, oh, he's yeah, that's him right there. Because I couldn't see it with the hair. And I was like, I don't know. When they cut that hair, you know what I mean? That was a big day in our whole operation too. You know what I mean? We brought Meech down early, you know what I mean? And I think one of the things of it is that when you deal with somebody who has never done this, you can't treat everybody like any old actor. Like, okay, you know what I mean? So, it was a little more holding we had to do. So like the first thing we did was we taught him, like how to hit a mark. You know what I mean? Like these were all, and it was really interesting. And I used to talk to him every day about why I wrote the scene and what this scene does adding up. You know what I mean? And then by the time we got to episode 8, I'm not joking with you, he would come to me and be like, Randy, this is what the scene was about. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't think of all that, but yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? So to watch the growth and development of both of these young dudes, man, I mean, like, that's one of my proudest things, you know what I mean, about this show. And I just hope the world receives it. But, the biggest thing is the Flannerys. I just want the Flannerys to be happy, looking at themselves in the city of Detroit to be happy, because that's where Meech and Terry from. That's where I'm from. And Detroit is as much a part of this story as the Flannerys are. So, yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, definitely BMF begins airing this September. And man, Meech, Da Vinci, man, thank you guys for just giving an amazing performance and just knocking it out the park. And when people see this, they're going to be in awe, not just amazed. They're going to be in awe. So, but like I said, it comes out this September, man. Make sure you guys check it out on Stars. Da Vinci, Lil Meech, man, Randy, thank you guys for taking the time out, man. We look forward to seeing y'all on the screen.
Thank you, Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.